stop everything and just turn to someone who we admire so very much, Morgan Ortagus, former spokesperson for the United States State Department, currently running for Tennessee's 5th Congressional District. Morgan, welcome back to the show. We are so excited. Running for office. Happy Friday. How you doing?
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I'm doing great. It's always a great day to be in America, especially in the state of Tennessee.
I love this. Tell us about how you made the decision to actually try to run for Congress, because you're so well respected. You're on TV. You're doing so well in your life. You're a great mom. You have a family there. Well, now you're going for. We love this, by the way, because we're huge fans, and I think this is the best thing that could happen in Tennessee. Tell us what your impetus was, and where do we go from here? Do you think, Morgan?
I think a year ago I would have told you I would never run for office in my life.
Yeah.
It's not something. It's really not something I ever pursued or thought of. And I think that I'm just really similar to many moms in America, quite frankly, Joe, that have gotten pissed off the past year, right? You look at what they're doing to our kids in public school, canceling schools, masking children. I mean, it's, ridiculous. 2 years into a pandemic, masking children. I mean, stupid. And then go to the grocery store. And, I remember last summer I checked out at the grocery store and I thought, what did I buy? That was really expensive,
Yeah, yeah.
And that was whenever, and I thought, gosh, groceries are, you just like simple, right? You start, pumping your gas and you look at your receipt and you thought, okay, here we go. And so it really wasn't one thing. I would say that I was so disgusted by losing 13 members in Afghanistan. And by the way, for President Trump, I helped with Mike Pompeo. Our team was the one who negotiated the end of America's longest war. So nobody was arguing that we needed to stay in Afghanistan forever. But the way that the Biden team exited, resulting in the killing of 13 American service members, I started to look around the world and I thought, I can't sit around and just wait and hope for President Donald Trump to be reelected again in 24. I've got to get in the fight now.
Yeah, we love that. That is so unsettling with this whole Biden situation. When he gets up there, they shuffle him up, and not to be disrespectful because of his cognitive failures, but they shuffle him up. They don't even address what happened in Afghanistan. They never.
No.
Don't we still have?
He says he doesn't feel. He doesn't feel remorse. He doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Care.
Exactly.
I think it's very troubling to veterans. Listen, I don't think that we can yet say statistically that there's a correlation between the suicide rate and what happened in Afghanistan, but I know it's going up, right? I know that Congressman Mike Waltz was telling me the other day the number of calls into the Veteran Suicide Hotline, which, by the way, there's plenty of resources. If you're a veteran and you're listening to this, please call in. There's another way. There's hope.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
But it is, I think the state of the world is troubling. Listen, at the end of the Trump administration, before the election, I sat in President Trump's office with his national security team. We just finished negotiating the fourth peace deal between Israel and the Arab states, the first deals in 26 years. We handed a peaceful Middle East to the Biden administration, and within 3 months, Hamas was attacking Israel. Within 7 months, Kabul fell to the Taliban. And now a year later, you have 150,000 troops, maybe more at this point, at Ukraine's border. And I look around and I thought, gosh, I don't know if we can afford 3 more years of this.
No, you can't. And I love that you're staying on the national issues because, you want to stay local in Tennessee, certainly, but the national issues and what you did in the Trump administration with the Abraham Accords is Nobel Prize worthy. And it sickens me. It's so true. And not to mention the vaccine that President Trump came up with. And again, Joe's a Trump guy. I'm objectively overview. The policies of the last administration that you were part of, Morgan, were so much. Look what's happening now. It's exactly what we feared when Biden got elected. Whatever happened in the election. Look where we are now. Give us your overview, Morgan Ortagus, on the Russian-Ukraine crisis. Where are we with this? And it's like we were talking to General Kellogg earlier. It's like Putin is just he can't. I'm telling you, we're covering this. We're all over this, and Putin is just laughing at Biden, and I'm embarrassed as an American.
Well, this administration does something very weird. every time, an actor on the world stage acts in a way that they don't think is becoming, they try to shame them, right? And they say, Biden started off his speech a few days ago, saying, if Russia invades Ukraine, they will be met with international condemnation. And I thought, well, really? Is that it? Like, I don't think Putin really cares about international condemnation. They said the same thing about the Taliban. I think Blinken said something about, like, the Taliban has to worry about their reputation on the world stage. And, you just sort of think, what in the world are you guys talking about? They care about hard power. So, a lot of people want to know, how do we have a president under President Trump where we didn't get ourselves involved in, any sort of stupid, the phrase endless wars is overused. But how do we not get ourselves involved military in ways that weren't appropriate? Well, it's not that we didn't take action. By the way, I remember very vividly in January of 2020, sitting in the Situation Room at the State Department, and our upstairs in the Secretary's office, whenever we took the head off of Qasem Soleimani, the world's largest terrorist in Iran. Yep. In many ways. And so again, it's not that we were afraid to use hard power. It was that when we threatened to use hard power, the whole world knew that Trump meant business. And that is the difference, in my opinion, between a strong president and a weak president. Weak presidents beget war. Because remember, all they've done is shuffle the deck chairs, right? The same people that were in charge in second term of Obama administration when Russia invaded Crimea are the same people that are in leadership positions of the Biden administration. So Putin knows all of them. He knows their game. He knows what they're going to play. And by the way, I don't say this gleefully. I don't want any American presidency to fail on the world stage. That's not good for us. That's not good for America. I don't know how many more international crises they can have before they wake up and they stop being so arrogant and realize that they have it wrong.
I'd say, but a great overview, Morgan Ortagus, because it's true, they are arrogant and they patronize us and they think that we're not smart, and that just offends me as an American. What they've done with oil, handing that over to Putin, and how that just oh my gosh! And now Germany's got to be nice to Russia. It's inexcusable. And before we let you go, Morgan, and these are issues that you'll talk about in your run for the 5th congressional district in Tennessee, right? Because I'm telling you, this is what. Basically, we're like a local show, but everybody streams around the country, and we even go to Russia. Yeah. We go to New Zealand, and everybody listens like around it's the way the communications is now. It's really cool. People can listen anywhere, but I find myself, even out of New York, talking on I find that our audience is so concerned about these national problems and now international problems, and we don't want Joe Biden to fail, but now it is a danger to our children. So you as a mom stepping up for the Tennessee's 5th, and you go in and you start talking about these things. Also the Durham investigation. It's like, wait a minute, they wrote 3.5 years. You guys had to endure the lies and transference and everything bad they were doing. They were accusing the Trump administration of doing, and they were doing it. Now we see. Please, yes. Can
I make one point on that, Joe? And I've been thinking about this, and I haven't made it yet.
Yeah.
You're when you bring up the Russia investigation. I mean, there's been so many clown show investigations, but when you bring up the Trump impeachment on this issue, one of the problems that we're seeing in Ukraine today is that the Democrats weakened the Ukrainian leadership by all of these crazy false accusations against President Trump. That's something that doesn't really get talked about. They are. You remember all of that was going on in the fall of 2019, and that is. I think that no one's really talking about that. I was thinking about that the other day when I was looking at Zelensky on television. Who, I went to Ukraine with Pompeo, met some of the fighters. I mean, these are tough guys, right? I mean, they're up against a very big adversary. But when I saw Zelensky on TV the other day, I thought, God, think about, how long was it? 6-8 months? It's hard to remember exactly how long it was of the Democrats, making Ukraine a political issue, a political bludgeon against Trump here in the United States. And all that did was weaken Ukraine even more.
Yeah, it's so true. Morgan Ortagus, kind enough to join us, and you're absolutely right. And people get mad at me, go, "Oh, Joe's pro-Trump, Trump." No, you got to. All I look at is the policies. I see the policies. And when you were with the great Mike Pompeo, what a great man he is, and a decent man he is, and for him to be Secretary of State, the respect that you in the State Department brought to us as American citizens, we don't forget about that. Now everything's by the wayside, and we've had it, and we're done. And I'll tell you, Morgan, I'll tell you, we love you, and I will let you go, and we wish you all the very best on this president. Listen, on this presidential weekend, celebrating Abe Lincoln, celebrating George Washington, everything. You can be, and I'm telling you, I say this about there's a handful, you could be president of the United States. Let me tell you something, because you're so, look, you know what, you're so, you know why? You're so young. I'm looking at your resume. You were born when I was on SNL, man. I'm saying, girl, you are young. You got the whole future ahead of you. But you got to go.
So
if you
funny.
No, but it could, because you get it and you understand it. And when you're on TV, we root for you and you make us root for the country. And that's what we need in office now. So God bless you. Anything we could do to help you, go for it, Morgan, and please come back on the show and keep us posted. And hopefully you'll have a chance to relax this weekend. But no, now that you're running, it's going to be every second of every day. Yes.
Yeah, I think so. It is definitely, we've got to meet every voter that we can in Tennessee's 5th congressional district and talk to them about, listen, this is how I fought for Trump and this is how I'll fight for you.
Yeah, well said. Morgan, thank you so much. Please come back soon. Go get him. Godspeed, Morgan Ortagus, and thanks for joining us always.